Perspective. Welcome to our narration of the continuation of Ezekiel chapters 37 through 39. The Valley of Dry Bones. The hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered and said, O Lord, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring upon flesh, and cover you with skin, and put breath into you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord God. Verse 7. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then saith he unto me, Prophesy unto the wind. Prophesy, O Son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord God, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up again upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, Our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come up out of your graves, and bring you into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then you shall know that I, the Lord, have spoken it and performed it, saith the Lord. Verse 15. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick, and write upon it for Judah, and for the children of Israel his companions. Then take another stick, and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all of the house of Israel his companions, and join them together into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not show us what the meaning of this is? Say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes. And say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Verse 23. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them, and I will multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they will be my people, and the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. Chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, and carried me out in the spirit. He set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. And it looks like we don't have any 38th chapter. The prophecy against Gog. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, thy horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Torgama of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people, against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend, and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things bring into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up into the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil, and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land, Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish. With all the young lions thereof shall say unto thee, Art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Therefore, Son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, Thus saith the Lord God, In that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shalt thou know it, and thou shalt come from the place of which north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company, and a mighty army. And thou shalt say, up against my people, thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. Ezekiel 38, verse 17. Thus saith the Lord, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring thee against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come against the land of Israel, saith the Lord God, that my fury shall come upon my face, for in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in the day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel, so that the fishes of the sea and the fowls of the heaven and the beasts of the field and all creeping things that creep upon the earth, and all the men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Lord God. Every man's sword shall be against his brother, and I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood. And I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him, an overflowing rain and great hailstorms, fire and brimstone. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord God. Ezekiel 39. Ezekiel 40. In the 25th year of our captivity, in the middle of the year, and the 10th day of the 10th month, in the 14th year after that the city was smitten, in the selfsame day the hand of the Lord was upon me, and brought me thither. In the visions of God brought he into the land of Israel, and set me upon a very high mountain, by which as the frame of a city on the south. And he brought me thither, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of brass, with a line of flax in his hand, and a measuring reed, and he stood at the gate. And the man said unto me, Son of man, behold with thine eyes, and hear with thine ears, and set thine heart upon all that I will show you. For to the intent I might show them unto thee, art thou brought hither. Declare that thou seest to the house of Israel. Verse 5. And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, and in the man's hand a measure reed of 6 cubits long, by the cubit and hand breadth. So he measured the breadth of the building, 1 reed, and the height 1 reed. Then came unto the gate which looketh toward the east, and went up the stairs thereof, and measured the threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad, and the other threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad. And every little chamber was 1 reed long, and 1 reed broad. And between the little chambers were 5 cubits, and the threshold gate by the porch of the gate within was 1 reed. He measured also the porch of the gate within 1 reed. Then measured he the porch of the gate 8 cubits, and the post thereof 2 cubits, and the porch of the gate was inward. And the little chambers of the gate eastward were 3 on this side, and 3 on that side. They were of 1 measure, and the post had 1 measure on this side and on that side. And he measured the breadth of the entry, the gate 10 cubits, and the length of the gate 13 cubits. The space also before the little chambers was 1 cubit on this side, and the space was 1 cubit on that side. And the little chambers were 6 cubit on this side, and 6 cubits on that side. He measured then the gate from the roof of 1 little chamber to the roof of another, and the breadth was 25 cubits, door against door. He made also posts of 60 cubits, even unto the post of the court round about the gate, and from the face of the gate of the entrance unto the face of the porch of the inner gate were 50 cubits. And there were narrow windows to the little chambers, and to their posts within the gate round about, and likewise to the arches, and the windows were round about inward, and upon each post were palm trees. The outer court. Then he brought me to the outward court, and lo, there were chambers and a pavement made for the court round about. 30 chambers were upon the pavement, and the pavement by the side of the gates, over against the length of the gates, was the lower pavement. Then he measured the breadth from the forefront of the lower gate unto the forefront of the inner court without, and 100 cubits eastward and northward. The north gate. And the gate of the outer court looked toward the north. He measured the length thereof and the breadth thereof. And the little chambers thereof were 3 on this side and 3 on that side. And the posts thereof and the arches thereof were after the measure of the first gate. The length thereof was 50 cubits, and the breadth 5 cubits, 25 cubits. Verse 22. And their windows and their arches and their palm trees were after the measure of the gate that looketh toward the east. And when they went up it by 7 steps, and the arches thereof were before them, and the gate of the inner court was over against the gate toward the north and toward the east. And he measured from the gate to gate 100 cubits. The south gate. Verse 24. After that he brought me toward the south, and behold, a gate toward the south, and he measured the posts thereof and the arches thereof according to these measures. And there were windows in it, and the arches thereof around about it, like those windows. The length was 50 cubits, and the breadth 25 cubits. And there were 7 steps to go up to it, and the arches thereof were before them. And it had palm trees, one on this side and another on that side, upon the other post thereof. And there was a gate in the inner court toward the south, and he measured from gate to gate toward the south 100 cubits. The gates of the inner court. Verse 28. And he brought me to the inner court by the south gate, and he measured the south gate according to these measures. And the little chambers thereof, and the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, according to these measures. And there were windows in it. And in the arches thereof round about, it was 50 cubits long, and 25 cubits broad. And the arches around about were 25 cubits long, and 5 cubits broad. And the arches thereof were toward the outer court. The palm trees were upon the posts thereof. And the going up to it had 8 steps. And he brought me into the inner court toward the east, and he measured the gate according to the measures. And the little chambers thereof, and the posts thereof, and the arches thereof were according to these measures. And there were windows therein, in the arches thereof, round about it was 50 cubits long, and 25 cubits broad. And the arches thereof were toward the outer court. And palm trees were upon the posts thereof, on this side and on that side. And the going up to it had 8 steps. Verse 35 says, And he brought me to the north gate, and measured it according to these measures, the little chambers thereof, the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, and the windows to it round about. The length was 50 cubits, and the breadth 25 cubits. And the posts thereof were toward the outer court, and palm trees were upon it, in the posts thereof, on this side and on that side. And the going up to it had 8 steps. 8 tables for sacrifices, Ezekiel 40, verse 38. And the chambers and the entries thereof were by the post of the gates, where they washed the burnt offering. And in the porch of the gate were 2 tables on this side, and 2 tables on that side, to slay thereon the burnt offering, and the sin offering, and the trespass offering. And at the side without, as one goeth up into the entry of the north gate, were 2 tables. And on the other side, which was at the porch of the gate, there were 2 tables. 4 tables were on this side, 4 tables were on that side. By the side of the gate, 8 tables whereupon they slew their sacrifices, and the 4 tables were of the hewn stone for burnt offerings, a cubit and a half long, and a cubit and a half broad, and 1 cubit high. Upon also they laid the instruments wherewith they slew the burnt offering and the sacrifice. And within were hooks, and hand broad fastened round about. And upon the tables was the flesh of the offering. Verse 44, rooms for the priest. Rooms for the priests. And without the inner gate were the chambers of the singers in the inner court, which was at the side of the north gate, and their prospect was toward the south. And at the side of the east gate, having the prospect toward the north, he said unto me, This chamber, whose prospect is toward the south, is for the priests, the keepers of the charge of the house. Verse 46, And the chamber whose prospect is toward the north is for the priests, the keepers of the charge of the altar. These are the sons of Zadok among the sons of Levi, which come near to the Lord to minister unto him. The inner courtyard, Ezekiel 40, verse 47. So he measured the court 100 cubits long, and 100 cubits broad foursquare, and the altar that was before the house. Verse 48, And he brought me to the porch of the house, and measured each post of the porch 5 cubits on this side, and 5 cubits on that side. And the breadth of the gate was 3 cubits on this side, and 3 cubits on that side. The length of the porch was 20 cubits, and the breadth 11 cubits. And he brought me by the steps whereby they went up to it. And there were pillars by the posts on the one side and on the other side. That's the conclusion of Ezekiel 37 through 40. I want to say hello to Amy Durand, Joy Trujillo. I want to say hello to Anarchy, Deb Woods, Sharon, pretty lady, you showing out today. Blessings to you. I appreciate you in every way. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a blessing it is. Thank you so much. Deb Wood says, thank you, Sharon Marie, for supporting Felicia. And Sharon Marie, Amy Duran, I'm so glad to see you. And I'm glad to see you as well, Amy. Thanks, Deb Woods. And Arky, Sharon is saying hello to you. Betty R says, hey everyone, good afternoon. Deb, that was supposed to say welcome. Betty R, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you who are giving today. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you all. Sharon Marie, Joy Trujillo, Betty R, my brother Charlie Sigler, how are you today, kind sir? It's good to see you. Robert Ingram, thank you very much for being here as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for doing that, Deb Woods. Thank you very, very much. I so appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much, Charlie. I appreciate you. And Sharon, Betty R says, absolutely. I think while I was reading through this, you guys, you'll notice that there was a bit of a glitch. There was a problem. There's been a problem with pulling from over on this side today, and I don't know why, but there's been a problem with toggling here. So it made better sense, I thought, just to keep it blank where we would not see it and then just go on. But as I've been toggling through, even prior to coming on today, I've been toggling through and it hasn't been moving well. And I think it's because now this hub, somehow I have these things on here, and you guys know I have a very bad time with all of these ads. The only way I'm not able to get any ads is where you can't hear it whenever I go to use the Microsoft side. The Microsoft browser, Edge, it helps in that I don't get the glitching and I can use just the reader. But the problem is that whenever we use that side, we can't hear. So for whatever reason, we got jacked up today. So I think some of you who are very astute, well, all of y'all who are very astute may have noticed that. And so if we did not give, which I thought I did, but I guess I did not. I tried to. When I saw that 39 looked just like what I just read, I skipped straight up to 40, and I should have done 39 independent. However, I know that Ronnie and I have gone over these and we've done these. But I think that going forward, what I'd like to do is to just do all of these as recordings for you guys. So that way there'll be a clean narration, if that makes sense. Just a very clean audio narration. And so I will do these the way that I normally do when I'm doing a narration. And that means that they'll be in volumes. And I'll start with Ezekiel since that's the one that we have been doing just recently. So what you're going to find is there will be a actual playlist that will start to have clean narrations of the chapters of Ezekiel that we have already started. So you may see, chapter 1 by itself, 2 by itself. I don't know how it will come out based on timing, but I know that you're going to see that, and that'll start like yesterday, only because of the fact that this is such a very powerful passage. And dealing with Ezekiel by itself can't be fumbled up like, the jumping and this doesn't work or that doesn't work. No, these are the times that we really need to dig into Ezekiel. Now, we were supposed to start at 39, which is how I knew that something was off when I kept punching the button, but it said 39, then it thought it said 38. So either way it goes, you guys, you're going to see this all over again. Fifi, also, hi to your husband. Joy Trujillo, I will definitely let him know. We don't get to see each other often because he drives trucks, so he's gone a lot. When you all saw him, as you know, it was his birthday. And when I saw Sandy Aaron in person, she had me crack it up. She said, is your husband really 75? As we joked that day. And I said, no, girl, he's actually younger than me. He's a few years younger than I am, and we were cracking up laughing. But I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much for asking about him. He is doing well, and I will definitely let him know that you said hello. You guys, if you don't mind, what I would like to do is I would like to go on further with the chapters here. And the reason for that is because I want to give you guys the closed up version of this. I just don't want to go so far that Ronnie has to come and run so much to go cover. That's what we're doing. We're working with his work schedule and what we're doing. He has asked me not to go so quickly through the 30s because of how he has to break it down to you. So I think I'm going to take your where you say a narration from you will be a blessing. I think that's what we're going to do, Sharon. I'm just going to go ahead and start slowly doing what I have to do, recording and uploading it and putting into an Ezekiel playlist to give Ronnie the chance to catch up, because I don't want it to be so heavy that we end up with a 5-hour live. You know what I mean? For him to go through and break down everything, because he said now that we're getting into chapter 30, into the 30s, he said that's the heavy. All the other stuff was heavy too. He said, but these pieces have to be really broken down. And so that's why I want to do it that way. So I hope you guys will permit me to do that. Again, I don't want to lose him. I want him to be able to come in and knock it out the park like, the Ruach HaKodesh gives him utterance to do. All right. So, yeah, let's do that, you guys. And I want to come back with you guys and do an actual live. So tomorrow morning, we're going to do our coffee. I saw you put Ronnie's name in there, Deb, and I thought it was his icon. I was like, yay, come in here now. But his schedule has had him so backed up. Let me see if I can. I have my cell phone off. I'm gonna turn it on now to see, can we get him and see, does he wanna pick up on this? Okay, hold up on just a second, you guys. Let me see, because that would be just so awesome. That way we could just cut to the chase and let him do his thing, and then after that we can go on ahead. We can put what he does as the commentary, and then we can just have the verses or the passages, as it were. Looks like we're having some real issues with the phone, with this computer, and it's not like we're using a Wi-Fi. We actually have it hardwired through the phone line, that thing, whatever it's called. So let me see if Ronnie is available. Let's check it and see. I sent him the link, but now let me follow up with a call, because I turned the phone off, because you know how the phone be going crazy when we be live. Hi, Vine Dressers Branch. How are you? It is so good to see you. Let me see if Ronnie is available. Hold on, you guys. Let me give y'all a little bit more of this funky canned music, as Steve Willis calls it, the canned music. I can't stand it. Hey, you guys, listen to that for a second. Nope, it went to voicemail, so that's okay. He's probably taking a nap. All the work that he's been doing, he's been working really hard. I mean, long hours. But that's okay. So you guys, that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna go on ahead and just do these starting when we hang up. I'll just start to maybe record chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter so on and so forth, and then but that's something long. You see why we've been taking them in chunks? Because these things are long and they're sort of creepy. I don't mean creepy in a bad way. I mean, yikes. You know what I'm saying? It's so specific. Keep my dates, keep my time, keep my commandments, keep my everything. Yes, he is. We gotta let him rest, Deb. We do. He's been working like 14 hours, 19 hours, just like, it's been, we had a long conversation the other day because we had not talked in so long, because he's been working, and these are all good things. It's not a bad thing. These are good things. He's excited and I'm excited for them, but I know. I sort of want him here now too. But anyway, you guys, we'll go on ahead then and just cut this off here. And I'll just leave this alone. I'll just leave this alone because I think that's the best plan, is to go on ahead and start these things and let him come in and do commentary. So what we'll end up doing is we'll end up reserving these as soon as the Ezekiel is done. And this is my hand to Yah. As soon as Ezekiel is done, we'll convert the ones that are sort of scattered out there. We'll convert all of those to members only, so that it's a clean playlist. It's a clean playlist. The commentary as well as each individual chapter. So everything else will be converted to you guys, to just the members. All right, so that way it'll be clean. And so that means I really got to get on it. All right, you guys, I love you all. I want to thank you guys again. You really don't know what it means to me to have received these blessings today. They were very needed. I just have to tell you that. And I just appreciate you. Thank you so very much. So very much. For those of you who had it, I trust and know that Yah will add it back unto you in a multiplied fashion, because you cannot beat him giving. That's what you can't do. You can't beat him giving. So you've given to me freely, and I know that he knows my needs, and I know that he will bless you and he will give back to you. I know that. I know that. That's his word. All right, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I want to tell you, you always know what we say here at the Felicia Lockhart Group and any of our publications, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. You guys take care of yourselves first, then I want you guys to take care of one another. Until we see each other again, please continue to be blessed.
Lockhart Perspective.